which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Castillo. Mr. Wilson, can I get a roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Darrell Jeter, District 1.
Here.
Michelle Glover, District 2.
Here.
Eddie Skeen, District 3.
Here.
Michael Bricky, District 4.
Here.
Danny Castile, District 5.
Here.
Chris Manus, District 6.
Here.
Stephanie Addington, at large.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, you do have a quorum.
Great. Has everybody had a chance to look over the agenda? I believe Mr. Wilson has a list of additions that he'd like to make to that.
That I do, thank you. First addition would be to add Scott County Life Saving Crew. I guess we'll just do that under new business.
All right. Section D for Scott County Life Saving Crew. All right, what else? Do we need to do?
You can just do it all.
Do it all, okay. Sheriff's Office, add them also under new business. And then Amy Vickers for bookkeeping, and we'll do that right after new business, in between new business and the appointments.
Okay. Okay. Bookkeeping. Okay.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Do I have a motion to?
I do have additional.
Okay. What would you like?
Scott County Schools Composite Index update.
I think we should leave that one under supervisor comments for this go around.
I'd like to request it goes someplace else in the agenda.
I mean, is that continuing that discussion, or
Yes, it is.
Sally, leaning on you here?
It's up to you all.
Do we
It's
want?
not any business.
I'd like to have it under new business.
New business? Does everyone else feel the same way about that?
I'm sorry, what is it again?
Scott County Schools Composite Index update. I have some more information on that I've received recently.
I'll second.
Oh, it's not a motion yet, Danny.
Okay.
And how does that relate to us?
In regards to your presentation you did a couple months ago, I had an administrative person with the state that I've gotten some information from.
Was something that I presented wrong?
No. Well, some questions about it, yes.
I'm not in favor of that. I'd prefer you to talk about that under your own comments.
Anyone else got an opinion? I mean, it still gets said at the end of the day.
It's fine.
We'll still bring it up. It's not, definitely not quashing it, just trying to make sure the meeting flows good.
There's one other thing also.
Okay.
Commissioner's Office, personal property, auto tax update.
Yeah, we probably should have a follow-up on that. I do agree there. I'd like to see where they're at. It's getting close to the due date. All right, we can put that under new business. F.
And what was that?
Commissioner's Office, personal property, auto tax update. That's all I have.
Okay. All right, so we're adding D, Scott County Life Saving Crew, E, Sheriff's Office, sorry, this is under new business, F, Commissioner Office Update, and we're adding bookkeeping with Amy Vickers. between new business and appointments. So that'll move that up. Do I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
All right, Mr. Jeter makes that motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Danny seconds. All in favor, vote by way of saying aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. Has everyone had a chance to read over the minutes from the last meeting?
Yes. I'll make the motion we approve the minutes as
All right.
submitted and written.
All right, Stephanie makes the motion that we approve the minutes. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Danny seconds. All in favor, vote by way of saying aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, next we have citizens' expression. I got a little thing to read here. Ms. Powers will let you go first. But citizens' expression period is a point in the meeting when anyone who wishes to address the board may do so. If you wish to speak, please come to the podium and state your name, where you're from in the county, and or what organization that you represent. The board may or may not respond to anything you say, but we will take everything you say into account when making future decisions. Please keep your comments concise and businesslike. We have a timer, and Bill, if you want to go ahead and get that loaded up. If no one has signed up to speak, we have no particular order. We ask that you take turns and speak your business. Any action will be considered after we close citizens' expression. All right, and with that, I'll open it up.
Good morning, board. I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. I've presented an email yesterday, but to save time and to stay within the 5-minute range, I've trimmed the fat. I'm here today to address a financial crisis that is unfairly burdening every property owner and taxpayer in Scott County. I lost my place. The massive annual deficit related to educating Tennessee students whose family reside near our border. The school board claims that since 2215 grants discretion to waive tuition, they can set the rate to 0 without meeting any other conditions. This assertion misrepresents the law and is the core of the problem. If the General Assembly had intended to allow tuition to be waived freely, it would not have specified the conditions, tuition or agreement for non-resident enrollment in subsection 2215. By specifying the conditions, it excluded the free waiver option, making the school board's current undocumented tuition-free action a contravention of the statute. The reciprocity condition is mandatory. The school board relies on subsection 2215 to admit students from a contiguous state. This subsection is not an open-ended waiver. It requires that the border state grants the same privileges to residents of the Commonwealth. This is a mandatory condition precedent, the reciprocity requirement that must be affirmatively established and documented by the board before any tuition can be waived. Statutory construction requires documentation. The school board's position relies on the principle that the General Assembly's mention of the two options, charge tuition or make an agreement, excludes a free waiver. However, the board's own policies show their understanding of this requirement. The board's admission policy JEC, section H, explicitly mentions this policy does not preclude contractual arrangements to permit students not otherwise eligible to attend Scott County Public Schools. This demonstrates the board understands the enrollment relies on a formal documented arrangement, a record of which now they claim does not exist. Waiver requires formal action. The school boards claim that a waiver exists, but the minutes documenting that waiver does not render the action. This renders the action illegal. Discretionary power exercised by a public body to spend $1.25 million in taxpayer funds must be reflected in the public record. An undocumented waiver is a contravention of both the statute and Freedom of Information Act. Given that Mr. Brickey remembered a cross-border share agreement was once formalized, and board members were aware of this historical precedent at the June meeting or possibly before, I must ask, why was there zero inquiry into its discontinuation? This failure is not merely procedural, it is directly responsible for forcing Scott County taxpayers to cover over $1 million annually. Much research went into at-large board member Stephanie's presentation of the school board budget. But why was the critical action of investigating this cross-share termination and school board's reasons for terminating ignored? Is this not a fundamental neglect of the board's duty to protect our county funds? We can quantify this financial pressure using the current local data that the board used the last time the board sought to raise taxes. With Judge Kilgore's recusal, I expect the county attorney Sally will try to leverage my pro se status for a technical dismissal. I will promptly challenge that action with a motion to rehear. This case will be reviewed. The courts grant latitude to unrepresented litigants. The board should understand that whether they force me to take the long, difficult route around a hog's ass for a ham sandwich or act reasonably, the ultimate outcome is the same, and your conduct today will bear weight in that pending hearing. I wonder what the court's reaction will be when it's clear the school board had every opportunity to seek direction from the General Assembly or Council, yet deliberately chose the course that guarantees the taxpayer foot the entire bill. Therefore, I respectfully urge the board this morning to take the following formal action. Immediately authorize and direct the county attorney's office to transmit an approval final draft of a proposal to the Tennessee Director of Schools and formally begin the negotiation process for the Interstate K-12 Educational Cost Sharing Agreement. We need to move from discussion to decisive action. Thank you for your time and considering this critical request.
Thank you, Ms. Powers. And I'd like to remind anyone that comes for a citizen's expression, please don't have any crude language. There are people with sensitive ears that watch this, and I am one of those people. So I would appreciate it if you would respect this body as such. Anybody else for a citizen's expression?
Morning.
Morning.
Peggy Tice from Snowflake Road, and my sister's with me. And I'm here on account of dirt roads. And VDOT, they need more funding for dirt roads. And I believe that's the only way that we're going to cut down the 253 miles of dirt road. But now, we did call in Snowflake Road to VDOT, and Jeff did get back a hold of me yesterday. We've got a pond at the end of Snowflake Road for the intersection of Adding and Frame. And Jeff did call me back, thanks to Eddie, that he's going to bring a load of gravel to fill that hole. And he said he couldn't scrape the road right now because of it being wet. But Jeff did get back a hold of me. And I would like to be able to ask Terry Kilgore if he really knows what condition the dirt roads are in Scott County. If he's driven over any of them, and we either have a muddy vehicle or a dusty vehicle and a rattly vehicle, and they're not cheap. And the Riverside property, I was wondering if there's anything happening with that to help taxpayers. And I guess that's all I have, and y'all have a Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tice. Anyone else for public expression?
Morning, you all.
Morning.
First off, I'd like to tell Michelle how sorry I am for her daddy and mommy. They were great people. We'll be praying for you. As far as VDOT, I haven't seen them in about a month, and all they like on Boozy Creek is about 60 yards of have it all paved from Music Drive up to John Burgess's house, but I don't know that address right offhand. And they've got one place on Boozy Creek that needs to be cleaned out. During this last rain, it went through the middle of the road and it froze in ice. So anyway, they've done a great job. Got a little bit of odds and ends to do, but I'm hoping they'll get that done in the first of the year. Second, I'd like to know what's going on, some feedback on all these young'uns in Scott County that's sick, that's in St. Jude's. I think Stephanie took care of this, or should have. And I'd like to know who's investigating it, what's going on. And I didn't know if y'all could address that right now or not.
Stephanie, you wanna go ahead and give an update?
I can.
Because that is on everybody's mind, and
It
I
is.
forgot to add it to the agenda. That is my bad. Thank you.
Okay. Well, today, we have a meeting with the Virginia Department of Health. I don't know, Chris and I are gonna sit in on that. They're the ones leading the investigation.
Well, what about the CDC?
I
Can they
think,
get brought in on this deal and find out what's going on?
I had heard that Terry had contacted the CDC.
Well,
I
it
don't know
should.
that myself personally, but I had heard that that was in the making, that was coming.
And a lot of this today is going to be figuring out exactly what we can ask for as a county. Because we need help. We're not
Yes.
Now,
qualified
we
to do
need
this.
to find out what's going on here.
Yes.
So,
And we need to figure out
Ladies.
what's going on.
Megan Smith, do you know Megan?
Yes.
She has done a phenomenal job
Yes,
of
she has.
getting everybody together. Last Saturday, she held a meeting, and she brought in some pediatricians, some nurses, a lady that worked at St. Jude's, and they talked about, you know, the things to watch for in your kids and things like that. So it was good for the parents to come.
but we need to continue praying for these. young-
Absolutely,
uh,
absolutely.
Some of them, if the good Lord don't help them, they ain't gonna make it.
Right, I understand.
Third thing I wanted to touch on, I don't know how to say this, but I think we should get out the word some way or another, that whenever the personal property tickets goes out, if they have not been changed from retail to loan bay, then y'all gonna have a mess, or somebody's gonna have a mess, because if they go in here and pay these things, and then by word of mouth, a lot of people ain't got social networks or the paper. And they send in their money and pay these bills, then somebody's gonna have to be sending them a check back. Because they shouldn't have never sent out retail value on personal property vehicles. I know one man in particular said he come in and talked to her, the commissioner, and he got his assessed value lowered $5,000. Now, I don't know the details on that, but please don't pay your taxes unless you make absolutely sure that you've got the right amount on it. Because you're gonna have a heck of a time getting it back, and somebody's gonna have to write a check, I guess it'd be Tino here, and sent back to them owners. So, anyway, if you all can do anything, Chris, you better be stepping up to the plate pretty quick. In my opinion, now this is my opinion, if the people that sent out these assessed values on these vehicles and sent them to the commissioner's office, if they are the ones that messed up and used the retail value instead of loan value, then they ought to redo their liquor cash over. If the commissioner didn't tell them, then I just go ahead and pay them out of the pot to redo it, because that will straighten out the whole mess. Thank you for your time. I may get into trouble by saying all this, but I don't want to see these poor old widows and people paying their taxes and then wanting their money back. There ain't no sense of it.
No, sir.
Thank y'all. Merry Christmas, by the way.
Gary.
Hey, Gary.
Say your name for the record.
Oh, I'm sorry. Gary Baker, Boozy Creek.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Gary. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Anyone else for?
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
My name is Jeff Arrington, and I reside in the Hilton's community here in Scott County. I want to echo Gary's comments to Michelle. Michelle, we certainly have our condolences for you, and we'll be praying for you. So, obviously, with the previous comments, there are a lot of important topics that you all are having to address. And I come before you with one that I hope will be a little bit simpler, but is certainly no less important. I've had the pleasure of coming here and addressing you all on a number of occasions in a variety of roles, but today I'm here as just a regular citizen of Scott County and a member of the Scott County Virginia Gun Owners on behalf of all citizens of this county. I'm here to talk to you about our rights protected by the Second Amendment. And notice that I specifically did not say our Second Amendment rights, because words matter. And I'm as guilty as anybody about calling it that. However, the Second Amendment does not grant us any rights. And we would do well to educate others and our children that our rights, all of our rights, do not come from our Constitution, state or federal. We are endowed by our unalienable rights from our Creator. The Second Amendment protects one of those particular rights, which is particularly important to us. Each of you took an oath to the federal and the state constitutions. The Second Amendment to our federal Constitution in Section 13 of Article 1 in the state Constitution protects the individual right to bear arms. I know that's contested by some people, but I'm here affirming that that's an individual right. This inalienable right, well understood by our founding fathers, ensured the individual right to self-defense against any and all threats, but especially tyrannical threats. It's not for hunting, it's not for sport shooting, it is for self-defense. An entire colony of citizens clearly understood the individual importance of arms, given the Civil War and the Revolution that they started. And it may seem awkward to refer to it as a Civil War. However, it was our first Civil War. Fundamental differences in government overreaching its authority on numerous occasions led to what has been referred to by our founding fathers as a glorious revolution. Today, on the precipice of our 250-year anniversary, we see similar divisions across our state and our country, and similar overreach by our governments. So we must set aside our differences and stand united for the common good to protect our freedoms and preserve these natural rights for our children and our posterity. I stood before you, the board, several years ago in this same room, requesting to establish Scott County as a Second Amendment sanctuary county. It's an effort that was broadly accepted and supported by many organizations, but more importantly by the people of the state and across the country, and also supported by our greatest documents of law. The board at the time, which several of you were a member of, unanimously approved that resolution. And although no expiration date was set on that resolution, I'm here again today requesting this board reaffirm that resolution. As I pointed out many years ago, the resolution does not serve as any sort of legislative law. However, it does serve to assert and preserve the individual right, even in the face of overwhelming resistance. It's our voice to say what we know to be the truth. It establishes that we will resist any infringements on our unalienable rights that violate the state or federal constitution, and as defined therein, are null and void. I'm sure each of you are well aware the newly elected incoming administration for the state is bringing with it a new set of philosophies and proposals which will challenge our individual ability to exercise our freedom of choice and rights. These philosophies and proposals truly present a danger to our rights, and they also conflict with natural law, a concept that is foundational to our Constitution and our entire country. As advocates of the right to self-defense, including the right to bear arms, we believe every free person has the right to choose if and how to defend themselves. No one should be forced to exercise that right, but equally no one should be stripped of the liberty to exercise that right in any form that they choose. We believe the Second Amendment to the federal Constitution says it best when it explicitly states, "shall not be infringed." We are already working closely and coordinating with other elected officials across the county, as well as across the entire Commonwealth, to preserve these individual liberties. We want to be ahead of the curve come January as this new administration rolls in. We have established contacts here in Southwest Virginia across Lee, Wise, Russell, and other counties, north all the way to Fairfax, Culpeper, Virginia Beach, and other counties across the entire Commonwealth. Well, there is an effort underway to reaffirm the Second Amendment sanctuary statuses across the counties, across the entire Commonwealth. And today, we hope that each of you will stand and reaffirm your commitment and your oath to the state and federal Constitution to ensure the incoming administration understands that our unalienable rights shall not be infringed. Thank you. God bless each of you. God bless Virginia, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
I did have a question, Mr. Aaron.
Yes, sir.
Has there been any new legislation, will there be any new legislation with the new session starting in January?
There already have been several bills that have been pre-submitted. The most recent one I saw, if you're familiar with the recent ruling that there was an injunction, I believe it was filed, that a judge had made the decision that, for instance, private sales previously in the state had required a background check, any private sales. If I meet somebody and do a private transaction, including a cousin or a father or a son, if I wanted to sell them a firearm, that was required to go through a background check. The incoming Attorney General, if we want to call him that, I suppose, he will be our Attorney General. Given the comments that he has said, he has already, for instance, tried to, I believe, step over some lines and say that he thinks that needs to be undone, and that all private transactions also require a background check. Among others, they're also looking, they've already pre-filed some related to so-called assault weapons. There is no such thing. There are firearms. There are tools that are used by evil people. That is what they are. So there are several others that they have submitted that are pre-filed, and it's our understanding by some of those that are delegates in Virginia that there are others they're holding on to that they will be submitting very soon. So thank you for the question. Any other questions, comments? Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr.
God bless you. Thank you.
Anyone else for public comment?
Good morning. I'm Donald Purdy from the Hilton's community, and I would like to again back up what Jeff said about the Second Amendment sanctuary status. I think we need to reaffirm that. It's vital. We can't afford to let people step over and onto our God-given right. We just can't do it. We got to stop it, and it starts at the local level. And I appreciate you guys if you all would support and reaffirm the sanctuary status for the Second Amendment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else for public comment?
I'm Myron Fields from Stanley Town or Cove Creek, or however you want to locate me. I just came by to check on the progress of our Cove Creek project, see what all been done, what came out of the meeting you had after last meeting with the people.
Yeah, I'll comment on that. So we did meet with NRCS twice, I guess, since our last meeting. The first time we went over some projects that they had looked at, and the Cove Creek project was listed as ineligible. But now we did fight, and we brought up the map. It was a long meeting. We talked about the problems that you had brought up and what we were seeing there, and they did change that to eligible. Now this is all on the preliminary level. So now this goes, all the list of projects that's been deemed eligible go to the national office. And the national office will give it the last review, and then we'll hear back on their final list. So that's where we're at. We're waiting on the national office to say whether or not those eligible projects will remain eligible. But
Do we have a timeline on that?
I don't remember if they set a timeline.
They didn't give a timeline.
I know they did say with the government shutdown that they're backlogged, so it takes longer than what it normally would. But we did move the needle on it. So
Did you all get the letters sent out to the different entities? You were going to send letters to the different entities requesting help, like Terry Kilgore and
well,
Griffin. And
I think they've all been involved in this process throughout, and through notifying Army Corps of Engineers, and of course through NRCS and FEMA and stuff. So All the agencies definitely have it on their desk.
I know I talked to Terry there, Kilgore the other day, and he hadn't received a letter from you all.
No, there hadn't been a letter. But we are working on this.
Well, as I said last time, Cove Creek was dry, but it's running now.
Yeah.
You got water in it, so shouldn't make that much difference, because if it's dry 6 months out of the year, it should take care of a lot of the wildlife.
And I make a statement, Myron.
Yes, sir.
Now, I was out there probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, up Dry Creek. And me and your neighbor was up there, and I took pictures of it. The creek was dry. Of course, I guess you can figure that out from the name Dry Creek. But it's timber in it big enough that you can sell for pulpwood. You can see that it's washing even in some of them other people's fields. What it is, the state looks to me like they built it up on their side, some to wouldn't be in the road. And it's cutting. You could even see some of the riffraff that they had put in the tiles up there. I can't think of the church there in the curve.
Durham Chapel?
Durham Chapel, right. You can see some of the rock that the state had fixed was even washed down through there, several hundred yards, maybe 200 yards, 300 yards down through there.
Well, now, some of the rock they put in Dry Creek and on up Cove Creek are down behind my house now.
Yeah, well, like I said, I was gonna say they're halfway to Stanley Town.
Some of them are already there.
Yeah, and now, you know that I've called Griffin's office several times, and even when he was in Duffield the other day. I'm gonna say it the way I took it, okay? It might not be true, but this is the way I took it. I think a lot of them's passing the buck.
Oh, yeah.
And they throwed it back on Josh Williams' thing. I think to get them to get themselves out of it. Now, the deal is, we all see that it's got a problem. If you don't, if you didn't go over there, you probably didn't see it. But if you go there, you're definitely gonna see the problem. And it's every neighbor that you set up through there. And the thing should have been being worked on during the summer, because the wet season is done set in.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that it done it 3 times last year. Now, I'm like you, I don't know why it takes so long to get the ball rolling. But we might get lucky and won't have no major floods, but it's a long ways between now and spring.
It is.
Anything that, Josh, you can do for us, I really thank you, because I know these people. And I see the problem because I've been out there several times to try to help them. Like Lennis Begley up there, his house got flooded out. That's been well over a year, and I don't know how far along they are with that. But there's a man that's been out of the house for a year. And if this thing comes about, there's going to be some more people out of some houses.
Very well could be me.
Okay. You're the most likely candidate. That would be my personal opinion. I won't quit. You keep me contact, make sure I don't forget, or just jog my memory. I won't forget, but I'll do whatever I can do for each and every one of you, okay?
You was talking about a passing the buck. That's like the last time I called Morgan Griffith's office. They said they needed a letter from Mr. Wilson.
That's who they put me over on, Mr. Wilson.
They passed it back here.
So you got the same response as I got.
Oh, yes.
Well, we'll stay on it.
And I don't know how it's Mr. Wilson's problem, but now that's what they done to you, okay?
Yeah, it's just gonna take aggravate them enough to where they'll finally say.
That's
"We're
exactly
gonna
right,
do it,"
Chris.
just so they'll shut up.
That's right.
It appears that there's been progress at this meeting. I would like to, you need to be notified more quickly, and I would ask the people that are involved, once you hear something, notify Mr. Fields.
Yeah, we will, once we hear something final. You know, we'll have to get that letter or notification that the projects are in fact eligible and, you know, ready for funding. And then we'll have to bring that back to the board. But I will notify you too, once I hear something.
No.
But we did move it from the ineligible pile to the eligible, so hopefully it stays there.
And I'm still waiting on your visit. You said last time you were coming over to check it
Yeah.
out personally, so.
Yeah, we can run back over there. We were over and just missed you, but we'll run over and actually take a look at it.
Give me a call, let me know when you're coming, I'll be there.
We'll do.
I'd like to yield the floor now to another one of my neighbors, Mr. Carroll Carter. He's here.
Good morning. My name is Carroll Carter, and I'm here to support Myron in what he's trying to do. My family owns property on both sides of Cove Creek. We're just downstream from where Myron is and the fields is. The creek, the elevation of that creek, I guess what has happened over the years is when the water gets up, it appears that the rocks all kind of move down. So the elevation in which we are, it's basically filled the creek up. So there's virtually no banks there at all. There's a lot of debris, trees in the creek from the, last September. There are a few of my neighbors there below where we are that their houses are susceptible to being flooded when the creek overflows. This last September it also did damage to Mabe Stanleytown Road and there at the intersection of Rycove Memorial Road there as well. We are losing ground to the creek because it's now eroding over into the field as well. There is, hay and pasture losses as well involved. Soil erosion, when the creek overflows the bank, it dumps a tremendous amount of sand over the land. This past September after the flood that we had, spent, numerous days, dragging sand off of the pasture in the hay field. So Cove Creek is a problem, and it's going to get worse as, Myron has pointed out. But I just learned of what he was, trying to do, and I wanted to come today and to show my support as a neighbor for that. So, thank you.
Mr. Carter,
Yeah.
could you tell us, I've not walked down through there on your place at that. Could you tell me about how full Cove Creek is down there at Ross Place?
Yes.
It's filled up with the river rock.
Yes, the last time I think the creek was cleaned out would have been after the flood of '77, I think is, if I'm correct on that.
I believe you are.
But in the area there where our farm is, there's virtually no creek bank left at all. Some areas, the creek is up within maybe 2 foot, 3 feet. So every time the water gets up.
I can drive by there and I can look over in it. Of course, I do every time
Right.
I go up and down through there. And I was gonna say it was definitely in 2 to 3 feet, being
Exactly.
full to the top of the bank.
Yes.
Would you say that's correct?
Yes, it's all the way pretty
I don't
much
know
all
how
the way, yes.
far yours goes down through there, but definitely a half a mile
Right,
or further. And I mean, and yours is pretty flat fields down through there,
it is,
so
yes.
when it goes over, it's gonna go over all of it.
It does, yes.
Cause I've seen it down there at the intersection where the old trash cans used to be out
Yes.
649. And I've seen it, be around the old trash cans years ago. And I don't know why it didn't float some of them off. And I'm not saying that it hadn't at some time or nothing. And I can't think of the house there on the right. I've seen it through that yard where it runs across the road, and I would call it, can't think of her Koch's wife's name.
Imogene.
Imogene, I've seen it around that house there.
Yes. Yeah, I would compare this, what happened last September, to what happened in '77, as far as the amount of water that was going over. And, you know, when the state, when Rye Cove Memorial Road was redone and they built that road up, then that forced all that water that comes there, it forces it, you know, back over on where it used to go, yeah.
The brush and stuff that's in that creek and all, it comes all the way out of the mountain out there in May.
Yes.
We know definitely a tree floats and it's gonna catch that bridge down there.
Exactly. There's a lot of large trees, and the way they're positioned, I've been afraid to get in there and try to, you know, cut them. It's just too dangerous. I don't have the proper equipment to do that with.
Right. But the fastest I ever seen it, you know, I just on down the stream on the river. I never seen it raise as hard, as fast as it did back there. I don't remember what year when Grady Baker got killed. And definitely in 24 hours, I can tell you it come from the normal river. Then it took, and when I woke up that morning, probably 7 o'clock, I looked out and it was in the low banks was full, and it's at least 10 feet higher than that where you get in my bottoms.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say not all of it wasn't covered, but I can say those places was 2 feet. And now that's the fastest I've ever seen it raise in my lifetime. But now, to me, I think we all got lucky last year when everybody over in the Carolinas got it. At my house, it would rain for 2 hours and stop for 2 hours. And it did put it to about the top of the lower banks. That probably had to raise it roughly 14 feet, I would say.
Right.
But it didn't raise as fast as it did when Grady got killed, and I can't remember what year that was. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
Anyone else for public comment?
I'm Junior Jennings. I'm made in Stanley Town. Danny, he come up and looked at the stream up above me there, and there's trees in it. If it's not cleaned out, it's gonna take the road in two, if it makes it all the way down the Cove Creek Road. They'll take my bridge, I guess, and go on down and cut the road in two down there. But there's big trees in there, aren't there, Danny?
Like I said, it's big enough that you can sure sell it for pulpwood.
Yeah, it is.
Now, if it takes this man's bridge out, it will take anybody's bridge out, because I think you told me it had 7 beams under it.
There's 7 of them.
And it's a well-built bridge as I've ever seen anybody build a homemade bridge, if that's what you want to call it. I told him if you broke that down, I'll sure like to see it. He said, laughed, he said, Danny, I've had concrete trucks across it. And you can imagine as many tickets as I've got, I might be broke the world record in overweight tickets, as much stuff as I've hauled. And I ain't one bit shy to tell you, I ain't had a few at $4,500, okay? And I guarantee that I can go across that bridge that man's built. Now, if the timber gets to it, his bridge is gone.
Oh, yeah.
Now, it ain't no rinky-dink bridge this man has spent his money to get across it. It's a
I've had
well-built
concrete
bridge
trucks
as you can
across
build.
it, and when they paved my driveway, they said they had 21 tons of asphalt come across it. So, and it's got 7 big H-beams under it, 4-inch flooring on top of that.
Then, that's Dry Creek where we looked at. Some places, it is starting to cut it. I wouldn't say it's major, but it's gonna get major.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if you wanna see major, go to Mr. Phillips's. I've seen it. It's cut an island that I would not be surprised that it's a half acre to acre, that his property's sitting in the middle of the creek now. And on the other side, I would not be one bit, make a bet that it ain't cut 100 feet on the other side of the island over on Mr. Phillips's. And Mr. Carter there, where his place is at, it don't seem like it's been as bad on it as it is Mr. Phillips's. And maybe you got lucky, but I'm sure to tell you, I look at it all the time, even before these floods ever started coming, or, I mean, we've had them all our life, but I'm telling you, it ain't only Cold Creek, it's Stony Creek. It's the same way. And we never had a problem of cleaning it out up through the 60s, because I remember them were working for a couple of years in them creeks. And I don't know why we could clean it in the 60s, but we can't clean it now without a bunch of red tape. And I'd hate to bring it back, but everybody seems like wants to put it on you, Mr. Wilson. I mean, and you ain't got anything to do with it. I think they'd have more power than you do.
Yeah.
But anything that you can do, each one of them has asked me, I've sure come and checked it for them. And I don't care who asked me to come check anything. I feel like that's my job.
Yeah. I appreciate you coming up and looking to see it. Maybe we'll get something done, I hope.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for showing up.
Anyone else for public comment? All right, with that, we'll close public comment. I was looking back through the minutes there, and it appears that we did have some discussion about sending a letter, but we as a board never made any formal action to send the letters. I'd like to go ahead and introduce a motion to send those letters to Morgan Griffith, Terry Kilgore, Todd Pillion, and the Army Corps of Engineers, just as a formality. I know that we're already in discussion with them, but that way they don't get to say that we've not made them aware and told them or talked to them about it or anything. So I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
And Stephanie seconds it. All in favor, vote by way of saying aye.
Aye.
We'll send those letters out. Sorry about that. It got lost in our discussion last time. Do we want to take any actions for, I know you had emailed the board about Second Amendment. Do we want?
We have
We
an agenda
Under
item
new business.
Oh,
under new business.
sorry. I wanted to make sure we covered it.
Chris, can I
Yes, sir.
interrupt you 1 second?
Yes, sir. I was just making.
Maybe Sally, Josh, somebody here can straighten me up. Do you think that we maybe would need to send a letter to the governor?
I mean, as long as we're sending letters, we'll just copy them on.
I don't know.
And
It don't seem like we've
Yeah.
had any action with the other one, so
Yeah. Might as well.
I don't see what it's gonna hurt. And like I said, we also need to mention Stony Creek up there too. Because it seems to get a little more wilder than Cold Creek because it's a little bigger, but it has the same problem.
Yeah, we'll make sure we send that out. We've got a formal board action for it. Is there anything else that we wanted to do?
Regarding this topic, or just response to citizens' expression?
Just respond in general, citizens' expression.
Okay. Most people know that Mr. Baker was the former Commissioner of Revenue, so I think he has a lot of knowledge. Do we want to discuss that with the agenda item that was added?
Yeah.
Okay. Ms. Tice brought up Riverside property. They were seeking Virginia Department of Housing financing. Is there any new information on that, how that went?
It's been submitted. I haven't heard anything as far as, whether it was awarded or anything.
So they went through that process one time and it got denied. But then they talked to the folks in Smith County, I believe, that were able to get that before and readjusted their application.
Right.
And so they've got a much stronger application this time.
They are hopeful,
Yeah.
that it'll turn out better.
And it seems like this administration and everyone involved is a lot more receptive to the needs of Southwest Virginia. So,
Can you all put Snowflake Road in that letter to all of them?
I tell you what, Ms. Tyson, we go to Richmond in January of every year, and I'll definitely bring it up when we see Todd and Terry and anyone else that we meet. Now, I've done that every year, but I'll just keep doing it. So maybe I'll aggravate them to death. That's my only strategy for that. It's like getting blood out of a turnip, getting money out of the state.
One other thing, Ms. Powers had brought up some different issues. I think last meeting, we had submitted a letter to the Virginia Department of Education, is that correct? A request for an opinion?
We did?
I had emailed with them
Yes.
and not received anything
Nothing.
back.
The Attorney General, you thought maybe that might be an option to seek guidance.
Since there's pending litigation now, that's not the best route at this point.
Now, several years ago, this is a very similar topic was brought before previous boards. What was the understanding from that in your research on these things that she's brought up? The interlocal agreement, reciprocity,
The same as it is now.
and what is that?
Again, because there's pending litigation, I don't think we should be talking
You
about
can't
it.
comment on something that happened 6 years ago.
Not at this point, no.
Okay. That's all I have.
Anybody else have anything? Okay. All right, well, moving on. We don't have any public hearings. We don't have any unfinished business. We did cover the meeting with the Virginia Department of Health to talk about the cancer cases. I just want everyone to be aware that we do have a meeting with that, and we're moving that forward to see where we get at there. Again, that's my bad for not adding an agenda item for that. Moving on to new business, opioid funding.
Yeah, so in my memo, hopefully everybody got a chance to see that, and in the packet, Southwest Virginia Workforce Development Board is seeking a regional opioid abatement grant to continue funding the ROPES program. And the ROPES program has been around since 2019. Assisted over 300 individuals in the region transitioning back to the workforce while maintaining recovery.
I found this on
This new grant will expand to include youth that have been opioid impacted. So the proposal in the draft budget I put in the packet, they're asking for each participating county for a $25,000 match for this grant. And they're working on getting they're looking for the 7 far southwest counties in the city of Norton. And they already have commitments from several of them. Dickinson County would be the fiscal agent on this. But I would recommend, doing this out of our opioid funds.
Yeah, we have a hard time finding
Right.
qualified uses for those opioid funds, so I'm all for anything that we can find, and
Especially taking a regional approach is always nice.
yes, and they're doing good work and trying to develop a good workforce. I'm on that board as our chairman there, so, or not, as chairman for the county. So, yeah, I think it's a good use for it. I'll make a motion to send them the full amount from the opioid fund. Do I have a second on that?
I'll second that.
All right, everybody vote by, Stephanie seconds. Everybody vote by way of saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
I oppose.
Okay. Motion carries.
I do have something on the opioid settlements. I think that last year we had some delays applying for some settlement money. Amy, are you familiar with that? Did we have any, it seemed like that came up last year on the class action settlements.
I don't think we had any delays, but I do think there was an option that we voted on last year to not participate in additional ones.
Yes. We
Especially-
opted out or something like that.
Yeah, and I think our reasoning behind that is we were having a hard time finding anywhere that we could actually use the money on.
Was that them two gentlemen come here last year from Libden?
That was a use of the money. That was not voting on whether or not to pursue additional opioid funds.
Someone had sent me some information they'd seen online last year that Scott County and a couple other counties in the area were meeting the deadline to apply or join. And I did bring it forward, but I can't remember the result of that. But I did speak to Ms. Cagley about it, and I think at the time, Frida, but I can't remember. We were going to miss out on some settlement money, so I brought it to their attention.
Yeah, I think if you look back at our meetings that we voted not to.
I don't think that's got anything to do with what he's talking about.
But yeah, that's true.
It's
You
not.
pointed it out to me after the fact, after it was done. I didn't know anything about it at the time. I don't know the circumstances around what someone sent you that we didn't do,
I
but
think
it's
there's-
two different
I
things.
think there's, yeah, it is. It's opioid settlement money with the pharmaceutical companies.
Right.
But
did
we were like
everything that
we were
our-
like two weeks away from closing the applications, and we hadn't applied. And there was money on the table, according to what this person from another county.
Yeah,
I
that money.
wasn't aware of it at the time. And
That-
we did everything that our national attorneys guided us to do, as far as I know.
Yeah, and two, the other thing that we have to understand about the opioid money is it's not just free money that we can use for anything to kind of plug the holes in our budget. I wish that it was, would be really nice. Or anything that we could even, I've had Sally research if we could even buy Narcan with it. Because, you know, Roger Carter has been in here before and said if he could buy it by the drumful, he would. But we can't even use it for that. There are only very specific regional or very specific programs that we can use that money for. And that's what ROPES is. It meets all those criteria, so we're able to send that money. But yeah, I think the reasoning behind not applying for some of that is because some of the other county, once you get so many counties piling on, or so many people in a class action of that size, that they would be less likely to get an award for the counties that did participate. And there are some counties that were struck, you know, we were struck pretty hard with the opioid epidemic, we still are. But I think, you know, if you look at counties like Lee County, they were practically gutted by it. So, you know, yeah. In the end, I think we made the right decision.
I agree.
All right, VACO comments. Stephanie, did you want to present on this?
Well, I mean,
That's what I was led to believe, so.
I won't present, but I will talk.
Okay.
So I printed you all out, or Josh printed you all out a report So Bill, Sally, myself, and Josh attended the VACO conference there at the homestead there, November the 8th through the 11th. They had some fantastic breakout sessions for each day that we were there. And we, as a team, we broke up and was able to hit all of the, to attend all of the sessions. And we took notes, and I'd encourage you to read through these. There's a lot of good information, more than I can really talk about in this sitting, but I'd encourage you to read through it. There's a lot of, Virginia housing, the budget for Virginia. There was a lot of talk about the, Josh went to the energy solutions, things like that. There's a lot of good things happening in Virginia. I didn't know if do you all want to add anything?
We were able to go to all the breakout
Yes,
sessions,
all of them.
so that was good. We kind of divided
Divide and conquer.
that, so.
Thank you.
We at least had ears in all the sessions that were offered, so.
I know when we went last year, we were unable to cover every single session, and I felt like, we were missing things. But that's great. I'm glad you all were able to cover all that. I saw some good information about childcare. That's something as a county we're keen to get moving on. A lot of information about energy, being energy resilient, and I think once again as a county, we're very keen on building our local energy capacity as well as helping.
That was a good one too. And the other thing I'll add is I was able to talk to and make friends with the supervisors from Dickinson County, some from Russell County, Wise County. Is there somewhere there was? But I've gotten their contact information, and I would love for us to, be able to, as boards, sit together and discuss things. Have one every so often or something. We even talked about that there, that we needed to be more in contact with each other. Because a lot of the stuff that's happening regionally, we all need to be on the same page with, right? So it would be I think it would be good if we could, coordinate an event for us all the local counties, especially, with the regional improvement committee stuff, or the regional improvement, things like that. So I think that would be great. I've got all of their contact information, and I've talked to them since, so.
That's great.
Yeah, it was
Thank you very
great.
much.
It was great.
Anyone that attended, was there anything that really stood out to you all of an opportunity we can pursue, or a direction that the state is moving, or more counties in the state are moving that we need to anticipate? Or
I attended the one about early childhood education and daycare, and one of the key takes from that was that 75% of people that have kids in daycare work outside the home. So daycare is hugely important for people to be able to go to work and having that opportunity in the county. And they were really stressing that in that session. So anything that we can do to encourage daycare in the county will help our workforce.
Yeah, no, I can't tell you how many times I've heard of somebody having to work a double shift because, the kid got sick, or, something happened that they had to keep them out of school. They didn't have no other family or anything, so.
Yeah, I attended two of the energy ones. So most of my sessions were all focused on the energy landscape in Virginia, and there's some good resources kind of coming out of Loudoun County with as many data centers as they have. I think they maybe have the most of anybody in the whole country. So they've kind of seen the good, the bad, and the ugly, I guess, of it, and they've put together some guidelines and some paperwork for counties to consider, if looking at bringing anything like that in. And I don't think they're all in there, but there's links to some papers and stuff, some studies that they've done, so things to keep in mind.
Yeah, I was impressed. I was looking through this before the meeting, and it said that they bring in $895 million in revenue for the county, and their county budget is $940 million. So what's that?
Just data centers alone.
Yeah,
Covering.
that's over 90% of their county budget is covered by just data centers. That's incredible. But anyways, sorry. I thought that was that was some neat numbers. So thank you.
Speaking of energy, is there anything going on with the solar farms permits? Any action being taken yet?
Nothing that I've seen.
I have been in contact with them, and all of them seem to be proceeding as planned. They're just filing their permits and getting their studies done. So hopefully we'll
Mr.
see.
Chairman, in another session, it was talking about the workforce in Virginia.
Yes.
And something that we can do in the county that I took note of is getting our businesses and factories in contact with our vocational school and the community college for CPE training, to figure out what those kids need, or what those companies need those kids to know, to be employed. That's something that we could probably work on here in the county.
Yeah, it's a big need. You talk to the folks down at PFP, they're always needing electricians, always needing folks that are experienced with masonry, so.
I just saw a report recently. The unemployment rate among college educated, current college educated, is higher than skilled labor, entry-level positions.
Or if they're all being replaced by AI.
I guess welders and electricians.
Yeah, I guess they can be. But, I mean, that's what I was trying to say.
I think we've all been privy to a lot of AI here lately.
I'll tell you, when I was working up there at the casino, 80% of the workforce was Mexicans. And I don't know what the labor force probably made up there, but I would say they's making somewhere in the mid-20s to high 20s now as a labor force up there for labor, but I don't know why kids don't try to get in more construction. Yet I don't believe everything I see on Facebook, okay? But I seen in Wayne, Michigan the other day, they's paying $81 an hour for operators. Now, I do know some fellers that's making anywhere from $40 to $60 an hour as operators. Yeah, electrician is even a higher skill than an operator.
Any other discussion of the VACO conference summary? Thank you all for typing this up and giving us kind of a look. And thank you all for working it out to attend every single session. That is fantastic. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of opinions in there that are going to inform us on our way forward, especially in January.
There was a very interesting one I went to on the federal and local landscape and what the outlook is. I just encourage you to read my notes. It's a little worrisome, I'll be honest, for the counties.
Yeah, probably a lot more of the cost is going to be pushed off on the county, isn't it?
I felt like that was the point for that,
Yeah.
is to say that the counties are going to have a lot more, are going to bear a lot more
Yeah.
than what they are currently.
Yeah, it's been heading that way for quite some time.
It has.
I think it's
It
finally
has.
coming to sort of a head.
Yes.
So it's worrisome how that's going to
It
play
is.
out.
But we will get through it.
We're resilient.
We are resilient. And speaking of resilient, keep on going.
Yeah. So if we're done with the VACO conference summary, Second Amendment. Stephanie or Mr. Wilson, do you want to lead off on this, or?
I'll defer over.
Yeah, Stephanie's the one that sent the email first.
I think we do we have something prepared or?
We do have a resolution.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, we do have a resolution, I guess, in the packet, to reaffirm,
Yes.
what the prior board, did.
Can we read that aloud? I would like that read aloud.
Yeah, feel free.
And do, is it in the packet? I apologize.
Stephanie's giving it to you. Or not Stephanie, Sally.
Oh, you got it. Thank you.
Don't hit me.
I'll take the credit for it, but I think it's Sally gave it to me.
Oh, thank you. So here a couple years ago, we were, like Jeff said, we were approached about becoming, rolling out this ordinance. And I, for one, am 100% completely and solidly behind it. I feel. Resolution, yes, it's a resolution, sorry. But I'll just read it, and I would like for us all to, at the end, take a, commitment to it, if that's okay. Is that how we need to do that? Or how do you?
Adopted.
Adopted, okay, so it says, whereas in acknowledgement of its deep commitment to the rights of all citizens of and visitors to Scott County to keep and bear arms, the Scott County Board of Supervisors previously adopted a resolution in affirmation of the oath of office and regarding a commitment to respect, preserve, and enforce the Second Amendment of the U.S. Constitution in Article 1, Section 13 of the Virginia Constitution. And whereas certain legislation has been passed in the Virginia General Assembly that allows localities to, by ordinance, ban otherwise lawfully possessed and transported firearms from certain public spaces, causing law-abiding citizens to be exposed to a patchwork of local ordinances as they travel throughout the Commonwealth. And whereas the Scott County Board of Supervisors acknowledges the significant economic contribution made to our community by tourists and visitors and does not wish to discourage travel to Scott County, and whereas Scott County wishes to welcome all law-abiding citizens who wish to live in, visit, or otherwise participate in the economy of our community, including those citizens and visitors who choose to legally carry a firearm for personal protection, and whereas the Scott County Board of Supervisors does not wish to infringe on the rights of the citizens of or visitors to Scott County to keep and bear arms. And whereas the Scott County Board of Supervisors wishes to express its continued opposition to any law that would unconstitutionally restrict the rights of the citizens of and visitors to Scott County to keep and bear arms. Do I read that last part? Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Supervisors of Scott County, Virginia, that the Scott County Board of Supervisors hereby declares that Scott County, Virginia will not exercise any authority granted to it by Section 15.2-915E of the Code of Virginia to regulate or prohibit the otherwise legal purchase, possession, or transfer of firearms or ammunition. And I'd move that we adopt this.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Jeter seconds. Everybody vote by way of saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Good.
All right, moving right along. We want to take a break for just a few minutes. I think everybody needs a little break. Let's be back here at 10:30, ready to roll.
Not here, you're good. Yeah. I gave that to him, is that okay?
Yeah, that's cool. Thank you.
Thank you. What was you saying? I couldn't hear.
of course, you're.
All right, let's get back into it. Next agenda item is Scott County Life Saving Crew.
Yeah, so Mr. Chairman, I did speak with Roger Carter and Wendell Burke. I guess that was back last week. And they are recommending that control of Scott County Life Saving Crew be turned back over to Scott County Life Saving Crew. And with the exceptions of, there is an ongoing audit of the Life Saving Crew right now that they're helping with. Just that they want to see that through. So just cooperation as far as getting any information for the audit to them or to the firm that's handling that audit until that's complete. And then also just to provide oversight to the Life Saving Crew. So allowing them to at least observe them, and then, but other than that, all control back over to them. And I do see some representatives here with Scott County Life Saving Crew. I did talk to Mr. Lambert yesterday and kind of told him what the expectations were, and that we're all certainly rooting for them, and we're happy that it seems that things have made a turn for the best, so that's good.
Yeah, that's great. So we need a board motion for that, to turn that control back over?
I believe there was a motion before, so
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, so do I have a motion to turn control of Scott County Life Saving Crew back over to Scott County Life Saving?
motion, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second that.
All right. We've got a motion and a second. All in favor, vote by way of saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. Congratulations.
Can I say
Thank you all
something?
for all your hard
Can
work.
I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
I want to thank you all for coming Saturday. Everything that you all did for us.
You're very welcome.
I really appreciate you.
We're glad to be there, but sorry that it happened. Especially during the holidays, it makes everything worse. I'm right there in that boat with you, but anything that we can do to help anybody.
Well, you've all always took care of my mommy and my daddy. I know you've been up there several times. And
Oh, yes.
it warms my heart that, you know, we've got good people that will take good care of you here in Scott County, and I do. I appreciate you all so much. I know I was a little hysterical and everything Saturday, but
It's the human parts of us.
yeah. But thank you all so much.
All right, any other actions we need to take in consideration of this?
Nothing for the Life Saving Crew.
Okay. All right, moving on to the Sheriff's Office.
Morning.
Good morning, Sheriff.
I'm Sheriff Eads. I'm here to, I guess we got a little issue. We're in need of a couple of vehicles at the moment. We've got one that they've totaled, the insurance company. And also we have one that's in the process of being evaluated. We don't know if it's going to be totaled yet or not, but we definitely need one vehicle, and the insurance paid is going to pay $17,600 insurance on that. And I've got some figures of, we can buy one. There's two on the lot right now in Bedford at a dealership on the Durango, which is 44,000. Let me see exactly what that is with my glasses on. $44,038.79. That's what it is as of now. And then you subtract the 17.6, and you're going to end up with 41,430. Then you have the upfit. Well, the upfit is around 15,000, give or take, of what the prices have fluctuated on the equipment.
So it's 56 total after the update?
Let's see, the total after, well, I added 15,000, be $59,038 minus the total vehicle reimbursement of $17,600, and leave a total of approximately $41,438. And the quicker the better, but he's got 2 left, so hopefully something can be done sooner than later, but I guess you all have to make that decision for us. But, and the second one, where it's borderline totaled or hit a bear, so it's suspension stuff and a little bit of body damage.
I would recommend that we go ahead and approve the purchase of this vehicle for the sheriff's office. They are running behind now with the 2 kind of on the sidelines. And the ones, their backups are not necessarily in the best of shape. We did get a little bit of money that would cover this from the regional jail. And that's where I would recommend that it come from.
Did we ever conclude looking into leasing and how that might be financially better for us? Is this the time to bring that up, or is that more of a budget season discussion?
Well, we were probably going to wait till budget season, but I think we can comment on it. I mean, we did look into it, and we kind of decided that there's just some things that we weren't necessarily in love with on, values at the end of the term and different things, and kind of determined that it might just be best to not go through one of those programs.
Okay. Okay, so that's the recommendation as of now, is to not.
Right, not to lease. I mean, that would be a discussion into budget season, but I think right now, my recommendation would be that we purchase one of I think it's 26 Dodge Durangos for the sheriff's office.
And how much did we get back from the regional jail?
We have,
I was looking at it.
I want to say it was right around 140.
You recommended 1 or 2, Mr. Wilson?
Well, I guess right now we would be looking at 1 because we're really uncertain on the other one as far as what the insurance is going to entail. Is that correct?
We should know soon. JC's been in contact with them. They looked over it somehow it both happened within a week of each other. So he sent them both, but they overlooked the one, and it needs to be looked at again.
And you're thinking that one's not in as bad a shape?
I don't think so. You can't see under it because the wheel is sideways and it's sitting basically on the ground on the front. So you can't really see under it, so I'm not sure. There's more damage under there on that frame cradle or whatever you want to call it than I'd say it'll be total, but we can't see that. For what you see, it looks like it can be just suspension parts.
Looks like we got $140,506.93
That's
back
correct.
from regional jail.
How did both them vehicles get wrecked, Mr. East?
One of them hit a bear, and the other one ran off the road in a ditch and rolled it over, actually.
Yeah, the bear was down there, Duffield, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that one. I forgot about it.
Where'd Darla? She went airborne, I believe, didn't she?
Do what?
She went airborne over top of it, didn't she? Or something
She
like that?
bounced, I'm assuming, felt like it probably.
I guarantee.
When you don't
Bless
see
her
anything,
heart.
you don't see anything, there's
Right.
something you hit. But yeah,
I
Bless
bet
her
it's,
heart. I'm glad she wasn't hurt that bad.
it's a lot harder to see a bear too.
yeah.
Definitely.
It's just the time, it's just perfect, you couldn't see it right there.
All
I'll
right,
make a motion, we buy the vehicle.
I'll second that. With Mr. You're moving and myself seconding, does it, everybody else vote by way of saying aye? Opposed? All right, motion carries.
Okay. Well, thank you, appreciate it, and we'll let you know on the second one, just see what happens.
I did have a question, Mr. Riggs. You thought you were going to get off easy with that.
No.
We had asked you recently about pursuing additional deputies through the comp board. You had mentioned on several occasions that at times you were shorthanded. And also your detective said that they could use 10 more detectives. I know that's kind of a stretch, but overwhelmed that you decided not to pursue the comp board approach to adding additional people. What's your thinking on that?
I have pursued that. I've asked those questions. And I can't go into, I can, but it might not be good to put out situations with the comp board and numbers and population. Is what they base their percentages on and what deputies you have for 1,500, for every 1,500 population. It's, I have asked a question and it goes nowhere.
I spoke with the Commonwealth attorney, and he felt like that with the caseload in 23 situation, that it would stand a good shot at maybe adding some more people.
It's been done, not only while I've been in office, but before. It's been asked.
Several times.
Yeah, more than several times. And I've met with her. I've talked to the one that's over at her several times at meetings about doing that. And there's a code section that they go by. And we don't want to be scrutinized for, we're not exactly sure where we're at in that number. So that's not wanting to say it, but saying it, you know. It's been looked into more than once, not just my administration.
Thank you.
Jeff, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
How many deputies do we have on?
We got 14 on the, is 14 JC that we have? Yeah, on the patrol side of it. And we've worked that out. When I came in, we tried to add another one in there. We got one that's working 3 on 3 off. We sort of using some part-time, doing court work, transports. So we added one more that way. But then you still got the times where people's off, just like this time of year, we're averaging 2 a day, 2 a shift.
How many roughly do we have in the whole county at doing that?
Counting resource officers, what, 48 total officers, resource, everybody? 46, 48. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Thank y'all for everything you do. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. Sheriff, sorry.
All right, moving right along. Commissioner's office update.
I did receive an email from Ms. Taylor, I guess it was answering a few questions that were posed. Let's see here. She did say that, you know, she posted on Commissioner Revenue's Facebook page, kind of a statement, trying to address any concerns, questions, or anything that she's kind of seen come into her office. So I guess take a look at that. As far as the clean loan, I guess versus the retail value on personal property, the vendor that they use, there's an issue with that, where you know, some of that I think got switched. They're working through that. There'll be some adjustments made through abatement or supplements, and she's just kind of looking into how that all's going to work. And then, yeah, as far as you know, any estimates on budget and stuff, she said that, you know, that's usually they just do the best they can do, but they were planning on, you know, doing the, obviously the loan, not the retail value, so. The mistake was they just got switched and somehow in the system, yeah.
There was a guy that I was talking to, I believe yesterday or the day before, said that the card that he had, I can't remember what kind, said it was like $39,000. was the window sticker. He said he owned it for 2 years and said he got a tax ticket for the same amount as the window sticker was.
That's
And,
what they're talking about with the
yeah.
retail.
And he said that he did call
She will
Tammy
fix it.
and she took care of it for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did just encourage, if anybody has any questions, about anything, just stop by her office. I think last I saw her, she was at the front desk, today, so she's available to talk to you about any of your concerns on your tax tickets or anything that you have.
Has there been any public method used to notify the people that this isn't, not everybody watches our meeting. Some people probably have already paid without question.
I guess, other than her posts, like she said, evidently she's been posting on the Commissioner of Revenue Facebook page. I don't know. I mean, that would be a question for her as far as how she was wanting to notify her.
Do you think that we maybe should put an ad in the Scott County Star to more people would maybe get out and know about it?
That's probably something we can recommend to her office.
Let her
Yeah,
let
I would
read
let
that.
her decide that.
That's a good idea. Because a lot of people do read the paper.
Because, I mean, word of mouth is one of the best things in the world, and if people sees it, and like I said, the gentleman told me, he said he had no problem, soon as he notified her, and, matter of fact, when this meeting's over, I've got to go there myself.
Yeah, and she was planning on sending out abatements, you said, for,
Yes, I mean, there'll probably be a few abatements and a few supplements, so both sides of the coin.
okay.
So are you saying the people that pay too much will get it reimbursed?
That would be the abatement.
The
And the
abatement portion.
supplement would be ones that should have been charged that weren't. So,
Okay, that's fair.
yeah.
The forecast on the budget, I know you weren't here, but was that based on loan value or retail? Do you
I believe loan value.
So that should be correct.
Right.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
they switched the system over either after during the budget process or after the budget process has been concluded. But those were from the old system that had the correct one, to the best of my knowledge. Okay. Moving right along, appointments. We've got, bookkeeping. I'm sorry, I wrote it off to the side. Thank you, Ms. Gagley, for keeping me in line there. Bookkeeping, what we got?
Please accept litter controls, Virginia Department of Environmental Quality Litter Prevention and Recycling Program and the Extended Polystyrene Campaign FY26 Grant Award totaling $24,481.91. And the funds will be appropriated after deposit and received at the Treasurer's Office. That's all. It's in your packet, sorry, I should have said that.
Yellow sheet. I'd just like to add that we should appreciate Stacy for writing this grant and getting this approved. That's a huge accomplishment, I think, and thank him for what he does. That's good. So, Stacy, if you're watching, thank you.
Do we need a motion out of that, or?
To accept.
Oh, wait, sorry.
I'll make the motion that we accept the grant.
All right, I'll second that. With Ms. Addington making the motion and myself seconding. Everybody else vote by way of saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries.
That's all.
That's all we got. That was short. Okay, now appointments. We've got a number of different appointments today.
You have two for the Economic Development Authority. Eric Lane has been serving, and he did reapply. Lynn Fansler has been serving, and she did reapply. You have two others, Clayton Williams and Timothy Edwards have also applied.
There are 2 seats, right?
and there are 2 seats available, so we have 4 applicants. Show of hands, I guess.
Take them one
Do
at a
one
time.
one at a
Take
time, yeah.
nominations for the first one.
Well,
For the-
I'd like to
nominate
nominate Lynn Fantzler.
Yes.
All right, for the first one, we have,
I'll
Michelle
nominate,
nominates.
Tim Edwards.
all right, Danny nominates Tim Edwards. Do we have a second on that one?
Don't need a second.
Don't need a second, okay. Any other nominations for the first seat? Okay. Show of hands for Lynn Fansler. Okay. Show of hands for Tim Edwards. All right. Lynn, okay. So Lynn will be serving again. Now for the second seat, do I have any nominations for the second seat?
I'll nominate Eric Lane.
Eric Lane. Do I have a second nomination for that?
I'll nominate Clayton Williams, and I do have some comments about him.
Sure.
Some of you may not know Mr. Williams. He lives in the Alley Valley area. I got to know him through working on water projects. He called me last night and said he was interested in this, and I just asked him a few questions. He's just a little background. He's been the past president of the Scott County Shriners Club with emphasis on the Eye Foundation. He's been the president of Clinch River Medical Center Board in Dungannon, over a 20-year member. He played a key role in developing the site, the building, and the properties. He's an advocate for rural health care centers throughout the United States. He worked closely with Virginia and U.S. legislators in Richmond and Washington, D.C., developing legislation for rural health care and EMT organizations as a member of the Virginia Healthcare Association. He worked on initiating electronic medical records programs that new to this area. He's been a Tennessee Eastman employee, entrepreneur, developed farming operations in a sawmill. He's worked as a community spark plug. How I got to know him is through on the public water for that area. And he's, I think, would be an asset for the Riverside property build out with the medical facility, with his medical background. Thank you.
So we have 2 nominations. Sorry. Make sure I get the, any other nominations? All right. Show of hands for Eric Lane. Show of hands for, I'm sorry, Clayton Williams. That's what I was looking for. Show of hands for Mr. Clayton Williams. Okay. Mr. Eric Lane will be serving once again. Regional Industrial Facilities Authority.
For this one, the county administrator and the economic development director serves on this board. John Kilgore has been serving and his term is up, so I'm asking that you reappoint him.
I'll make the motion that I'll make the nomination of John Kilgore to the RIFA board.
Okay.
I'll make a motion the nomination cease and go to
Everybody, since there's,
Need a second.
I'll second that. Everybody vote by way of saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Motion carries. And then do we need one for Josh as well?
No,
That should be.
no.
Okay, that's just the, okay. And then the CPMT.
Jessica Keith has been serving on the CPMT board, and she has resigned. And this is for the private provider position.
Okay.
You did not receive any applications. I did check with Tammy Thompson. She's the CSA coordinator. And she gave me some organizations that you could get someone from, the Family Preservation, Harvest Home for Children, Values, and the Revita Recovery. If someone that's employed by them would be willing to serve. that would work.
Yeah, and just for clarity, it has to be somebody from one of those facilities or some private provider.
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that we didn't have a flood coming in of applicants. But, okay. We'll keep digging on that one. That one's always a hard one to fill, they tell me. So. All right, county attorney's report. Ms. Franklin.
I don't have anything today. You all have my report in the packets. I can answer any questions.
Thanks. We appreciate all you do.
Miss Sally, thank you very much for all you do.
Moving along, Mr. Wilson, county administrator's report.
Yeah, we'll start out with the claims, it's in your green sheets provided in your packets. Available cash, $12,008,400. Let's see, $12,008,483.42. Early set claims for the month was $647,206.08. Total claims for the month, $710,051.78. Mr. Chairman, I would ask for a motion to pay the bills.
I'll make the motion that we pay the bills.
So moved.
Ms. Addington, seconds.
Sorry.
And all in favor of both, way of saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Just a couple things under my miscellaneous. First off, I'd like to request that the county office close at noon on December 19th. That's the date that's set for our Christmas party. And we'll be having that up at Scott County Park. That way, you know, that we're not trying to rush that at all, trying to, you know, eat and do gifts or whatever we're going to do and then rush back here. So I would ask that we be able to do that.
Do I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second. I would like to make a comment.
All right, with Mr. Bricky making the motion and Mr. Jeter seconding, all vote in favor by way of saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Ms. Glover that mentioned about the Christmas party.
Yeah.
How to put it together. I'm all for the company funding the Christmas party, the county funding the Christmas party.
That's okay. I'm using my supervisor salary to
that's fine.
buy some catering. So yeah, we don't need to pay for that.
I don't have any objection to that.
I appreciate both of you. You know, should be a good event. Of course, I haven't done it before, but it sounds like everybody usually has a good time.
Everybody had a great time last year.
And it's nice to celebrate, you know, a year's worth of hard work together. So my next ask.
Just a minute, Josh,
Yes.
if you don't mind. Are you bringing dishes or is it all going to be
Well,
catered or whatever?
We'll go and get it catered.
yeah.
Catered?
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't need to bring dishes.
Right.
Not unless you want to.
This one's on Chris.
Yeah.
He's paying for it.
That's good.
Get you something.
One more thing, Christmas Day and Christmas Eve, do we want to do a half a day Christmas Eve? Or was you going to bring that
That
up?
was my next ask.
Sorry.
Reading my mind. Yes, I would ask for 4 hours PTO for county employees on Christmas Eve, you know, in addition to the 4 hours that's provided by the state.
Okay, so that gives them a whole day.
Correct. So it'd be Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and then the Friday off is what I'm requesting. Be the same as what we did for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that. Everybody vote by way of saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Merry Christmas, everybody.
Thank you all. One last thing, Brittany Robertson has asked me to, we've been talking about this for a while, trying to come up with a committee that really has representation from all the communities within the county. And so I guess what my ask would be, or at least to consider it, is to, instead of doing a whole new committee, she already has the tourism committee currently that is granted through, oh, there she is, granted through the code section, part of Appalachia, that sets up the local committees. And so what we would be looking at, right now there's 5 members on the local committee. I don't know what the number would necessarily be, but what we're looking at is 2 members from each community around Scott County. And, you know, hopefully we would like to see, you know, those 2 members be already involved in some of the planning with local areas, you know, whether that's Nicholsville days or Dungannon or Duffield or Hilton's, Gate City, Weber City, you know, whatever, too. And that would also come through the board for an appointment. So it would just be a restructuring of that committee.
How are we defining communities here?
Well, I guess we'd have to set a number, and I don't know if Ms. Robertson wants to speak to that.
Well, and that's a great question. Josh and I had kind of tossed the idea around of expanding that committee and really kind of making more of a central county tourism committee, because we've got Nicholsville Planning Commission, you know, there's Gate City Frontier, but as far as one central group in the county that works together in terms of planning events, and in the very beginning it may just be that we all coordinate with each other and make sure we don't have the same events on the same days. You know, I know Dungannon has a few folks that do those things. Duffield has a few folks that help and do those things, but there's no central organization. So we are in the very early stages of deciding what that may look like. But the hope is that it would be one county-wide group that would be responsible for, at the very beginning, just coordinating dates to make sure that we're not conflicting days. You know, we want to be able to have our Christmas parades and all of our festivals on different days so that we're not competing event-wise. And, you know, I want to be able to have a central group to where we can plan those things together. Everybody's going to be responsible for planning their own things, but we can kind of bounce off ideas off each other and make sure that we are really kind of pushing county events as a whole.
Okay. Are y'all worried about the size of that group getting unwieldy? Because I know, you know, the larger you make a committee, the more voices that you got, and it seems like the less that gets done. Are y'all, how would y'all control for that, I guess?
Well, I think in the very beginning, like I said, it's less about, hey, let's all get together and plan these things. It's more about, let's just make sure we're making our events on different days and working together to do that. And, you know, Josh and I had talked about some of the conflicts of days that we've had in the past and how it's just very difficult to cram a lot of things in one 2 or 3, you know, block weekends. So, you know, if we need to back it down to 1 per community, we could certainly look at that. But again, there are already established groups in Nicholsville, Gate City, maybe Dungannon. I'm not quite sure what they're working with at this point.
Yeah, that would be my only concern. I'm all
Sure.
for it. I think we should have more representation. But, you know, as Mr. Jeter knows from the regional jail board, like once you get, you know, more than about 15 in there, it's rough.
And I completely understand that, but my thought process with that as well too is if we ever really truly want to host countywide events, so if we ever got back to the idea of maybe hosting a Scott County fair, we're going to need representation from every community there in order to be fair and in order to be able to give everybody the opportunity to participate and to share ideas. And so, you know, I think our long-term goals is that we can do more countywide events. We've got some really great town events and we want to see those things continue, but long-range goals is that we would host some countywide events as well.
Okay.
And the code section does say that the local committee be made up of 5 or more members. So we're just at 5 right now in our bylaws.
What if you made it according to the voting districts? That would be 6 times 2 would be 12.
I think that would be think that would be pretty good.
So that would be Gate City, Nicholsville, Hilton's,
Yuma,
Duffield.
Duffield,
Dungannon,
Dungannon, Fort Blackmore.
Yeah,
Is that right?
That'd
even
be
some of the
seven.
districts have like two distinct communities,
So
like, you
Dungannon,
know.
Fort Blackmore's together.
Rock Cove is in,
Rye Cove, Fort Blackmore, and Dungannon is all
Yeah.
District 5.
What was your definition of communities?
Manville.
Manville too.
Are you just towns, or are you like?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, historically speaking, if you look at our communities or / towns that host events, that's really, I guess, where our focus would be. Because, you know, if they don't have the capacity to host events or have festivals or things like that, then I don't know as far as their inclusion in that. Because, you know, I'll give you an example of this. I mean, the area that I live is Snowflake, Nicholsville. You know, I mean, Snowflake is its own little community. However, we would never host any sort of event. So, in my mind, it might be more organized towns or groups who've hosted things in the past or have a willingness to do that.
I think that's probably, you probably have more participation. Because, I mean, if somebody lives in a community that doesn't have events, just like you said.
Sure.
who's-
In my
maybe they
mind,
want to
you know.
start though.
And maybe they want to start.
Sure, and maybe there's, you know, representation from those groups as well, but, you know, this idea was kind of born out of the idea, I have a master calendar where I'm putting together all of the events for the county and having them added to the website, but I don't have anyone that's pumping that information to me other than if I'm reaching out to these people and saying, hey, do you have anything going on? And so there's just there's no master group that says, hey, let's make sure that we don't have, you know, 2 events on the same day.
Yeah.
Because realistically speaking, we don't have enough people to populate these events if we're doing them both on the same day.
Yeah. That's fair.
I
Yeah.
think that's
So, you know.
And I'd love to see, at the end of the day, you know, I've got a great tourism committee, but I would love to see us move towards more of a, let's start organizing and planning things. And the group that I had this year was instrumental in the Makers and Growers Festival. You know, and of course we have people from, you know, kind of spread out representation, but, you know, we've got a whole group in Nicholsville that does their own planning, you know, commission piece. We've got Gate City Frontier. You know, we've got a few ladies and gentlemen over in Duffield that do their thing. But if we could put all those folks together and be able to work together, I think that would be best.
No, I think that's great.
Yeah.
So, Ms. Kegley, would we be looking at just amending the current bylaws, or what would the next action be?
That would be up to the committee, I guess, to amend their bylaws. You all would just be supporting having more members on the committee that you would be appointing to.
We'll support you.
Oh, yeah, sounds great.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for all you do.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Maybe with the board action.
Work, that way there's a
Board
paper
action.
trail.
Yeah, that you support.
Yeah, so I guess do I have a motion to the effect that we support the tourism committee expanding?
I'll make that motion.
All right, Mr. Skeen makes that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Castile seconds. Everybody vote by way of saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
All right.
Were you going to cover PSA portion?
No, I was, I think the report, Mr. Dishman, I think, submitted a report.
Okay.
It's moved. Okay.
Mr. Dishman had a conflict today with the FEMA.
Can we get him in here next month?
I can ask.
I'm sure everybody would like to hear from him, especially, you know, due to some of the articles that have been published and some of the questions that the citizens have. I just think it would be good to have Mr. Dishman in here.
We can certainly request that, yes.
Well, let's request it every month until he gets in here,
Okay,
because he put off the last one as well,
I agree.
if I
Yeah,
remember
this is
correctly.
his second time.
There
Yeah.
was 2, yes, this would be the second.
Yeah. I know he's a busy fellow, but, you know, it doesn't take
This
much
is
of your
once a
time to come
month.
down here and at least
Once a month.
give everybody an explanation. for Tom? So, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
All right, moving right along. Board of Supervisors, comments, requests, and recommendations. Just want to say that earlier this month, I guess in November, since the last meeting, I had a meeting with VDOT. Mr. Skeen was there as well, where we talked about a number of different projects in the county that we're going to be submitting for funding requests. So we're working through that. The dirt roads did come up, and they said that the main mechanism that they have to fund that is the pot of money that we've always known about. And the only way that we could really get any movement on that is to expand that pot of money. So it really becomes a Terry and a Todd issue there, or Mr. Kill or Mr. Killian. Just to make sure that Peggy knows we're fighting for it. And everybody else that lives on a dirt road. Any other comments?
Do you think any way that we could take some of the money from the state, like where they repair roads, paving, that we could take some of that money and put it to the county roads that ain't been paved?
That would be a question for Mr. Sumter.
No, that's what I'm asking.
And I doubt that they would do that. I doubt there's enough to go around, honestly.
We done tried that.
Yeah, I don't believe that that's eligible, and that kind of going back to VACO, I did go to the transportation session, and that question, exact question got brought up, and the answer was
I
no.
figured, I know, I didn't know if y'all could answer the bigger. Mr. Summers
We would love that.
could answer it, but he wasn't here today, and since this kind of about them dirt roads, and we hear it, and I hear it a lot, and I tell them, well, you'll be dead before it ever gets paid.
Yeah, there was a lady, I believe from Smith County, that asked that very question, because if, they were saying if we didn't get any more money to pave dirt roads, then can we use our, money for maintenance money or whatever that comes down through the state? And I said no.
Yeah. Sorry, any other comments, questions?
There's something that I want to bring up before you get into the composite index. It's been quoted several times that I made a statement that, well, I'll just read it out of minutes. Ms. Powers, pointed out that Michael Brickey publicly stated that they used to require a cross-border agreement to send students back and forth, and that he knew of no such agreement now. To bring you up to where I finally figured out where this came from, it was during Stephanie's presentation on composite index that day. And I was talking about the state of Virginia. At that time, I don't think it had been brought out about the actual code, but that was who I was talking about when it says that they used to require a cross-border agreement. They still do. It's still in code, and that's what's being quoted. But as far as I know, there has never been a reciprocal agreement between any other county in state or out. Washington County, Tennessee did not have one. Sullivan County, Tennessee does not have one. Kingsport, Hawkins, Hancock, no out-of-state county has ever had a reciprocal agreement with Scott County. And as far as I know, and I don't know if it's required or not, no county in the state, Washington County, Russell, Lee, or Wise, has ever had a reciprocal agreement. So this is, I did say that they used to require a cross-border agreement, but they is the state. They is not our school board. Understand it? Understood? Okay, but I'd heard that, and I finally figured out where that was coming from, because I knew I hadn't said that Scott County had a reciprocal agreement ever.
Thank you, Mr. Briggy. I believe Mr. Jeter.
I'd just like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and thank the staff for all the hard work they do.
I'll save that portion that you referred to, Mr. Bricky, till last, and I'll just cover my typical stuff. The thing you were referring to with VDOT, the smart scale, we do pick project, I think, every 2 years on that. It's usually a safety and intersection issue, and what we're looking at now, their meeting, hasn't been decided yet. We're just looking at it. It's Natural Tunnel, Highway 65, it's the clincher of the park highway. We mentioned Angler's Way, but I don't think that's truly potential. But those two, I think, are the ones that were discussed at most. Mr. Sumter did give me a little update. He said he's getting an influx of work orders for gravel and road maintenance, and they're following up on all those. But they're only prioritizing those that need our most biggest problems. They're doing gravel and potholes. They're not doing entire roads. He said at this point, if they did, they just scrape it off when we had snow. So they're not trying to do an entire road. Also, the thing he's working with is the gravel budget. I had some requests from school bus drivers this month. Big Moccasin Road, there's 4 bridges there that were, the approach to the bridges was sunken. VDOT did take care of those, all 4 bridges on Big Moccasin Road. Upper Possum, shoulder repair has been worked on. They still continue to work. That's in the Yuma community. River Road, Dungannon to Fort Blackmore, tree removal. School Street in Nicholsville, potholes have been repaired, and the PSA has to do some work. They're hoping to do an entire street paving in 28. I just want to remind school bus drivers, if you have any safety issues on your routes, and also the Sheriff's Department, feel free to call me. We can work through that. They're getting on safety issues that's demonstrated here with the buses. So they're, within a couple of days, they were getting on this stuff. So we appreciate them for that. One thing I will add to the PSA, that Ms. Glover had asked for a mapping of the new project areas for the sewer on their website. It's now on the PSA website. So anybody that's wondering if they're going to be covered in the sewer project, you can look on there. If you still can't figure out if you're in that area, call the PSA office, or I'll be glad to help you with that. But there's 3 steps. You go to the website, go to news and notices, current projects, click on Hilton's or Yuma project, and it'll pull up the maps for you. I got on APCA, that's the old RADA, Windows and Doors and Weatherization. I got a call from Ms. Joseph, project manager with Habitat for Humanity out of Charlottesville. She's been overseeing the Blueberry Hill project in Dungannon. They completed 1 house renovation and have a contract on it. It's entry-level housing. They have had a price reduction of $2,000, so a 3-bedroom unit is $88,000, 2-bedroom is $73,000. And there's also some financing opportunities that go along with that. So this is a good opportunity. They have several more houses under construct or remodel now. APCA has assisted with the playground renovation, so they do have a nice community playground that they're working. But they do have a broker in this area that's working with Habitat for Humanity and selling those units. But if anybody needs contact, just give me a call. I did speak with Mayor Danny Dixon, with the mayor of Nicholsville. He spoke about the Daniel Boone Trail Association. The funding they got there is $464,000 to improve a trail from the Daniel Boone Interpretive Center to Cane Gap, and that's going to take place in about a year. That's a 5-mile hiking and bike trail. He also told me that Bush Mill got a grant for improvements. They've already completed the walking bridge, and they have additional plans for lighting and video, and they're hoping to open one day each week to the public. I think Mr. Beckley's name came up today. We were at a Winter Wisco meeting this week, and one of the employees, Jimmy Atkins, spoke on the Virginia Disaster Assistance Program, and I did reach out to him. He thought Mr. Begley had submitted his application for that. He said they were waiting on a building inspector. I don't know if that means county inspector or somebody else.
We submitted that report last week.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
everything
so
should be
Mr.
good to go.
Begley's being looked at.
Yeah, there were several residents there on Moore Hollow Road that
You mentioned they had several.
we should have, yeah.
Listen, I'd like to thank each and everybody that's working on that project because, I mean, the man needs help.
Right.
And Stephanie, she even mentioned it a few months ago.
Yeah.
And like I said,
He's a
anybody,
neighbor.
yes, fine feller,
Yeah.
good neighbor. Anything that you say good, he's that kind of man.
He needs help.
Yes, he does need help.
The next thing is the not smart scale, the composite index. I did have someone reach out to me with some information regarding that, and this goes back to Ms. Addington's presentation, I think a couple months ago. Where did you pull the data for that report that you put together?
Every bit of that came from the Virginia Department of Education website. I'd like to know who reached out to you.
His name is Dr. Tom Brewster. He's a PhD. He's a highly regarded educator, administrator, and faculty member of a major university in the field of education.
And he's familiar with all of this information
Yes.
and understands the local composite index.
He's the former superintendent of
degree doesn't mean
Pulaski
anything
County
for me.
Schools. He's a former, he's appointed by, I think he was appointed by the governor and has worked with the Virginia Department of Education in Richmond. And he's been appointed to several boards in the state of Virginia, educational boards and universities. Somebody mentioned he might be going back this year to Richmond to work with the Department of Education. He said accepting out-of-state tuition does not affect the composite index. In our case, Tennessee students count would be included in the total
No, sir, it is
average
not.
daily membership.
Absolutely is not. It reads directly out of there. I have read that verbatim. It absolutely affects that number. The average daily membership number will, if the tuition is charged, they are not counted in the average daily membership number at the end of the year. I promise you that is exactly how that reads.
Is it not how you word it as they come in? If they come in and you charge tuition, then it's taken away.
It is taken away.
But if you say it's an admittance fee.
It's all in the wording.
Earlier, I know Frida, Turry, and I don't know who else. I was sick at that time and I couldn't be there. But they had a meeting on this very thing, and I think they decided that it's how it's worded as to whether you can use it in your ADM, your average daily membership March 1st.
Again, no, continue because I need to hear the rest of this.
He said any tuition collected stays within the local school district.
Yes, it does. It would go to the school district.
I think a statement was made that it goes to the state of Virginia if there's a tuition.
That's what they told us.
Yes.
If they charge tuition, it went to the state.
Yes.
If they charge admission fee,
It stays
Stays here.
Stays here.
So it's the words that makes the difference.
Yes. Now, I was not in that meeting, but that's what I heard came out of that meeting.
And there was something Frida mentioned that I used the word tuition. And she corrected me and told me what the word that you had, the way you had to word it.
You have to use it as like an admittance fee or something other than tuition. You cannot
You
state
can't
tuition.
use the word tuition.
Right.
That was a no-no. If y'all
Oh,
remember.
please continue.
Mr. Brewster did check with Tazewell County, and they keep their funds. And I checked with them last week, I think. And they do charge $500 for out of state. I think mostly West Virginia.
But it's an admittance fee, right?
Well, I didn't get into the wording.
So there's your
Well,
problem.
I asked tuition.
I would understand that
I
before I
asked
would
if
even
you
charge
charge
her
her tuition, she said yes, $500. It's $250 per semester, and they have 2 semesters.
The last time I went to Richmond, I sat for a long time with the gentleman from Tazewell County. He is at that time, he was the chairman of the State Board of Education. And he said that they had a set number in Tazewell County that they would take from West Virginia, and they wouldn't go over that. But that is the way they handle it.
Sorry, when you say they there, are you referring to the Board of Supervisors or the school board?
This gentleman,
Yeah.
all I know, at that time, he was chairman of the State Board of Education. And I don't know if he was superintendent or board member. I don't know. That's been 2 or 3 years ago that I talked to him about Tazewell County. And everybody's mentioned taking it to, and I'll just go ahead and throw this in there right quick. Everybody's mentioned taking it to the Attorney General. Well, the last 2 times I went to Richmond, the first time that the Board of Supervisors here brought it up to the Attorney General, that we had about 450 students from Tennessee, he turned around to his aides, and if any of you were there, you'll remember this. He turned around to his aides and said, "That's illegal, isn't it?" Okay, that was that year. The next year we went, and some of you were there, and he wouldn't acknowledge it.
Yeah, I asked him that question. He didn't really, wasn't clear on his answer. Kind of
Wise County and another county backed Scott County in trying to get something done about kids coming over, and he wouldn't. So I don't know how much good it would be to take it to either Attorney General, the one we've got now or the one we're going to have.
I would just like to say that we should be careful on where our discussion is veering here. We're under some litigation right now, and if we go too far, who knows what could happen. But also, my stance has been this is a school board problem.
Absolutely.
And this is something that the school board needs to resolve.
Our Lee County neighbors have also been in discussions with their, not this exact, they don't have this problem, but their funding of the school system. They do have some concerns over it.
The school board or the
the
board of
supervisors.
Okay.
Well, I'm kind of like Eddie there. We fund the school board and,
Okay,
let's just pause.
Yeah, it's probably, we've probably already veered too far.
Let's just stop.
Okay. All right. Next subject,
Move on.
please.
That's all.
All right. Anything for closed session today?
Yes, we do. We have reason to go into closed session for personnel and legal counsel.
All right.
Personnel being county administrator, county attorney, and legal counsel being the pending declaratory judgment petition.
I had one more thing I wanted to say, but I'm not going to.
All right, we have 2 items to go into closed session. Do
I had something to say,
do I have a motion?
So moved.
Stephanie makes, Ms. Addington makes that motion.
What were the items that were?
Danny
I got
Tesdale?
the first one.
Personnel it would be county administrator and county attorney, and then legal counsel would be pending litigation.
Yep.
need a second.
A second. Okay, on a motion by Stephanie Addington and seconded by Danny Castile, this board hereby enters into closed session pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711 for personnel, county administrator, and help me out here. County attorney, and Section A7, which is legal counsel. Everybody vote in favor by way of saying aye. Aye. Opposed? right. Whereas, sorry, we're coming back into session, open session here. Whereas the Scott County Board of Supervisors has convened a closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and whereas Section 2.2-3712 of the Code of Virginia requires certification by the Scott County Board of Supervisors that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Scott County Board of Supervisors hereby certifies that, to the best of each member's knowledge, 1, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by Virginia law were discussed in a closed meeting to which the certification resolution applies, and 2, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered by the Scott County Board of Supervisors. Do I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Daryl Jeter makes that move. Do I have a second?
Yeah, I do.
Danny Castile seconds. Roll call vote by Mr. Wilson.
District 1, Darrell Jeter.
Yes.
District 2, Michelle Glover.
Yes.
District 3, Eddie Skeen.
Yes.
District 4, Michael Bricky.
Yes.
District 5, Danny Castile.
Yes.
District 6, Chris Manus.
Yes.
And Stephanie Addington at large.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman.
All right. Everybody has certified the closed session. Do we need to take any action from closed session? I don't believe so. All right. And with that, we will wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a wonderful New Year, and adjourn to January 7th, 2026.
And don't
Yes, Chris.
forget your Christmas dinner,
Yeah.
December the 10th.